Man.
Oh, yes.
Mom, Dad's being weird again.
Luscious.
Honey,
So full.
it's just grass.
Oh, it's so much more than just grass. It's a healthier, greener, and more luscious lawn. Yours can be too.
Look at you.
With Kabursky Brothers Lawn Care.
Remember, no shoes on the lawn. Because you're so beautiful.
Call or click today.
Spring has sprung in the great state of Iowa, and if you've been thinking about getting outdoors with your family during the best time of year, we want to help you here at Plaza RV. We are a locally owned RV dealer in Bondurant who cares about our customers before, during, and most importantly, after your purchase. Give us a chance. We will treat you like family. Buy local. Buy from Plaza RV.
Join us for the Murph and Andy Patio Tour every Friday, continuing this week at Wellman's Pub and Rooftop in West Des Moines. A great place to watch the game, grab lunch, or have a night out. Wellman's has it all. The party starts at 1 this Friday at Wellman's Pub and Rooftop in West Des Moines with Murph and Andy and Iowa Everywhere.
Murph and Andy, proudly presented by Ramsey Subaru, live and on demand across Iowa everywhere. From the Channel Seed Studios, this is Murph and Andy. Murph and Andy, connected by cellular advantage.
I think it was last Monday on Murph and Andy where it didn't feel like a Monday because the weather was so awesome. This is the opposite of that. It's just a crappy day out.
Yeah, 365. No, 180 degrees. Yeah, 180 degrees. We spun. We need rain really, really bad. Really bad. The whole state does. It's a Monday. I mean, I don't know. If it's going to rain, I think do it on a Monday.
And don't do it on Friday. We got a patio stop coming up.
Don't do it on any weekend day. Don't do it on a Thursday. Get it done on Monday and Tuesday. Maybe that'll be the case this week. I mean, we're supposed to have rain today and tomorrow. But yeah, we need it. It's okay. It's just such a crazy turn of events, right? I mean, Friday we had a beautiful day on the patio at Confluence, and now we're back inside, kind of dark and everything. I look dark.
I know. It does feel like a Monday. There's so much to get to today, but before we get to it, I think we should mention the man who has inspired a nation, Scotty Scheffler. I mean, it just shows that you can come back from anything. I mean, just a year ago, he's arrested, detained. He's in an orange jumpsuit. He's a mugshot. He's, called a thug by many people. He gets out of jail, comes back, immediately birdies a hole, does pretty well in the PGA Championship, but maybe it was unrealistic to expect him to win it. But here he is a year later after he got out of jail, and he wins the PGA Championship. Andy, this is a great American comeback story, and we were all there to see it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the circumstances last year. He's in line to get into the golf course, right? There's traffic backed up, and he pulls a Yui over the median or something, or did he try to go around the entrance?
No, not even that egregious. Just kind of goes over to where the player's entrance was. But yes, the cars were backed up, and to his credit, you can hear the audio tape. This is all in the new season of Full Swing by Netflix because they've got cameras everywhere as this happens. And he doesn't ever say, do you know who I am? I'm the number one ranked golfer in the world. Any of that. He just answers the officer's questions. He's calm. He really handles it well. He comes off very likable in that. And he was out, and it was good for his image, I think, because he was like the last guy you could expect arrested. Like he just had that, I don't know, that milquetoast kind of bland. Is there anything interesting about this guy? And then by the end of that day, the gallery is lined with people wearing his mugshot on their T-shirts.
Yeah, that I had forgotten all about that. I think many of us had it. We just had forgotten that had happened, and everybody starting to put it together as the tournament's going on. You're like, oh, okay.
1 year ago.
This is a turnabout.
Yeah. Even his mugshot is pretty good because he's not smiling. He's not making fun of the process, but at the same time, he doesn't look scared. He just kind of looks like what it is, a little bit of a mix-up. Of course, all charges ended up being dropped, and I don't know if anybody got fired.
Because the security guard was kind of overzealous, right? Wasn't that sort of the ruling there? Is that guy just kind of went nuts?
It would have reminded you of Permar at Kinnick Stadium on RV TV. That is the most upset I've ever seen you.
A lot of people get intoxicated by their uniform, right? They put one on and they think they're superhuman.
I just remember you saying, if that guy comes and knocks on this door, we didn't sleep the entire night because it was like regular intervals. And we had already told Permar, we have permission from the University of Iowa to be parked right here. Here are the people you can go call. We're not, but the shift would change and then someone else would come. Boom, boom. You can't park here.
No, he was like slapping the side of, if that guy was 20 years younger, there would have been a massive fight on the parking lot. I was so angry. My friends,
it's the maddest I've ever seen you.
My friends in college used to call me the morning asshole.
Yeah.
And they later amended that to the all day asshole, I'm sure at some point. But if you woke me up in the morning, I was just like I was not myself. I was a different person. And that guy just, I mean, we were dead tired, right? We had moved the RV around. We had finally found
end of the week.
Found a little nook that had enough space to park that thing, but it was the day of the game or the morning of the game. And oh my God, that guy was just, God, buddy. And then I got out and he just stepped right up into my face, but he was like 75 years old.
Yeah.
So he was so bad. Yeah. Right. The uniform though, I mean, some of those guys, mall cops, you used to see those all the time. The mall cops.
Paul Blart.
It would drive around that little electric 3-wheeled scooter with the flashing light on it.
Dang.
Still, they were packing a walkie-talkie.
They've got a job to do too, but that was so frustrating. Do you remember who else was in the RV? Because this is back when we stayed in the RV every night. Do you remember who was on the trip? I don't think Hassel was, because I feel like if he was, he would talk about this once a month.
No, that would have been...
Before that?
Well, before Hassel. I think this might have been...
We've been at it for a while.
This might have been 2002.
You think this might have been Pierre Pierce week?
Yes. This might have been the game. The 2002 game. I think...
23 years ago.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was that morning. So that would have been... First of all, we were sleeping in the RV, and I think I was driving the RV. So that... would have been you, me, Bailey, and that's it. We didn't have any photogs that stayed with us. Yeah, you, me, and Bailey.
Jeez, we had such humble beginnings. Yeah. So what you're telling me now...
There wasn't room for more than that. That was just like a little Cousin Eddie RV. That wasn't the Plaza RVs that we have now, the rolling palaces, the fifth wheels.
It is kind of interesting. Like back when we had far more people in the newsroom, we had far fewer people on RV TV.
Yeah, that's ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the RV that we drove was used. It was not for sale.
It was Cousin Eddie's RV.
It was, yeah. It was headed toward Cousin Eddieville.
And is that the same year that the no brown rule became like a something you signed in blood?
Yeah, you were the one that that broke that law that we thought was already established, but
allegedly broke that. Yeah, right. There's some sloshing on the way back to Des Moines.
Yeah, Bailey and I were dying on the way home. It was awful.
Yeah, Bailey quit. Bailey quit.
He wasn't there much longer.
Quit. That's what sent him to Grandview. Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines sets the table for sports and more. Coming up, Toxic Rivalry, Purdy Sweet Deal, and Mini Woo. It's Guest House Tavern, Northwest-inspired Midwestern hospitality. Andy, of these three topics, which are you most intrigued to find out what it actually means?
Well, I guess just the third one, because I'm not totally clear on what that one is. I know exactly what the first two are.
High or low since our last show?
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Get your retirement accounts all set up. If you've got tax complications as well, Tim Hawkins and company are up there at Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax. And if you're listening, you're in your 20s, this is the time you need to start planning for retirement. That sounds ridiculous, but you have time on your side. And time is your best friend. Tim Hawkins can make the most of that time that you've got, get you set up for the future. I'm going low here. I hate to do this, but my hometown of St. Louis was smacked by a tornado on Friday, and
Wow.
I can't believe it. First of all, how many tornadoes have we been through, and how many times have you guys thought to yourselves, I wonder why they never seem to hit big cities?
I think
Right?
that all the time.
Because they could. There's nothing about a big city that makes them tornado proof.
No, in my mind, it's like there's a wall of buildings that prevents it from coming into the city limits, but I know that's not true.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it just hits, farms or small towns like Greenfield, and Lenox, and Applington, Parkersburg. It doesn't hit Des Moines, and it could. It absolutely could. This is St. Louis. This is St. Louis City. And I will say that this is old St. Louis. This is just a little bit west of downtown, not too far from the St. Louis University campus. This is a nicely rehabbed neighborhood. This is a nice area here. These are
Not
homes that were built in the 1800s that are built like Fort Knox's. I mean, major thick brick walls, limestone foundations. I mean, heavy, real solid wood, timber, no particle board. They don't have any, these things were built slowly.
It's probably the only reason it's not just a flat photo we're looking at.
Yeah, and I will say that. I mean, I'm surprised the damage doesn't look worse, but I mean, when you see close up on some of these things, you can see the piles and piles of bricks that this EF3 tornado actually was able to lift out of place and scatter all around. A number of people killed. This is something that I never once saw in 18 full years of being born and raised in St. Louis. Never saw a tornado hit the city or even the suburbs, but let alone the city. But that's exactly what happened on Friday. It's so sad to see this. It's been worse in Kentucky. The state of Kentucky has had every bad weather headline. It seems like every storm system that we've had in 2025 has somehow gone through Kentucky. They've had tornadoes, straight line winds, terrible flooding. Man, they need it. They're just been in the crosshairs, but St. Louis has been hit by a bunch of stuff too, but not like they did on Friday. So that's, my heart goes out to the people there. And I know that it's affected my friends and family who don't live in the direct path of the storm, but certainly they know people that are there or they have business in that area. And it's a big area that got hit. Forest Park, everybody knows Forest Park in St. Louis, where the zoo and the art museum and the all of the World's Fair, 1904 World's Fair attractions are still there. And a lot of that stuff was damaged.
About a year ago, Greenfield, it feels like it was about 1 year ago.
Yeah, almost exactly a year ago. I think they they observed it last week. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that
they've come a long way too, but going back there, there's a lot yet to be rebuilt. I mean,
still reminders.
They were socked.
I'm going with a high. Got Friday night, went out to Top Golf, caught up with some old friends, the Finneys and the Skinners, and we used to get together more than we've been able to lately. Life gets in the way and kids, and there's just so much to do. So it's just nice to catch up with them. I don't really golf anymore, but Top Golf is good for me because I can eat and drink beer and sit down at the same time. And we had a really good time out there.
Question.
Yes.
Do you have to pay for golf when you're not golfing? Can you just sit there and eat and drink and not have to pay for the golf part?
Because there's a bar and restaurant there too. But if you're out in one of the bays where the
Well, you have to pay to sit in there?
You would have to pay to be in there because each one of those comes with a cost. But you don't have to. You can go sit in the restaurant or sit at the bar.
You rent the bay. You rent the bay.
Yep,
okay.
you do.
All right.
You do. And there's many different games, and we had a good time, and that was fun. Let's get the buzz here on a Monday.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
All right, so the Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Fever Sky rivalry somehow one game in gets even more toxic nationally. Before we go there, let me first acknowledge something here that was unthinkable 18 months ago. And that's, I went to Wellman's and the place was packed. And I asked the manager there, Eric Marshall, I said, how different is this than usual? He said, typical Saturday about this time, 1:45, 2 p.m. There's a few this bar
That
bar
looks
was
a lot
full.
like Chandler.
That is Chandler.
Oh.
But this bar was full. I mean, the whole place, Wellman's was packed, and I heard of other places being packed as well.
Is this a Wellman's on Ingersoll?
This is Ingersoll, yes.
Okay, all right.
This is not where we're going Friday
for
the patio tour.
We're going to the rooftop. Yeah, this is OG Wellman's.
Yeah, the OG Wellman's. Yeah. So Eric was just telling me, this is all new. And this is the WNBA, and it's Caitlin Clark, but the place is full. Yeah. And the audio is on, like an NFL Sunday because everybody's there. This game ended, and immediately there's like 3 people at the bar, and that's it. I mean, they were there to watch a women's basketball game, professional women's basketball game, and that was once unthinkable, and we shouldn't lose sight of how remarkable that is. And most of it is the Caitlin Clark effect, and you could see that there at the bar. So that was kind of cool. The Fever won by 35 points. So even though this is presented as a rivalry, it's really not much of a rivalry yet because the Fever are just so much better than the Sky. This was a beatdown. This was a rout. And in the 5 games the Fever and Sky have played in Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark's 2 seasons, the Fever have won 4 of them, and a few of them decisively, like Saturday. So for it to reach another level, the Sky are going to have to get quite a bit better, but the Fever look like a legit championship contender. So all of that. Then we get the triple-double by Caitlin Clark. 27 years of the WNBA. Nobody's ever done that in the first game. Angel Reese was also good in this game. Double-double. Had 17 rebounds. So they lived up to the hype. They don't guard each other. But, Andy, everything changes, as you know, on one play. And that's this hard foul by Caitlin Clark, a take foul, where you're just purposely putting the person on the line by, racking the arms.
Preventing an easy basket and sending the person to the line anyway.
Yep, exactly.
You got a better chance of them missing a free throw.
As Caitlin Clark called it, a good take foul. And Angel Reese said the refs got it right. Basketball play, refs got it right. So Reese and Clark both said the right things to maybe take the temperature down on this a little bit, because Angel Reese popped up ready to fight, shouting some obscenities in Clark's direction. Aaliyah Boston gets between them, and this video clip has been clipped over and over and over again, and we can't show it. But the thing that gets missed is on some of the editing, because things get edited out of context all the time. Angel Reese has just pushed Natasha Howard with both hands from behind. Yes. And that leads probably to Clark being a little more aggressive with the good take foul. And she gives her a little bit of an arm there too, but it does not compare to some of the fouls Caitlin Clark took from the Sky just last season. Mm-hmm. So you get all of that. Meantime, Aaliyah Boston learns in the post-game press conference that she got a technical foul.
I got the tech?
I didn't know that.
Oh,
well, first of
no!
All,
I know.
Let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on the basketball. I'm not sure what the refs saw to upgrade it, and that's up to their discretion after watching the initial whatever happened during the play and then whatever happened after. We watch a lot of basketball. It's a take foul to put them at the free throw line or rather give up 2 points. I've watched a lot of basketball in my life. That's exactly what it was. I wasn't trying to do anything malicious. That's not the type of player I am. So, yes, it wasn't anything like that. And I went for the ball, and that's clear as day in the replay. You watch it. It shouldn't have been upgraded. But, again, that's up to the ref's discretion. But I appreciate AB having my back. I guess I don't even know what she did. I didn't see that.
Yeah, well, girl.
Have fun paying that fine.
Can I get half? Can you send me a
I got it.
Oh,
Don't
perfect.
worry. I wonder real hefty.
Good exchange there in that video courtesy of Wish TV. So, so much going on. And Andy, this was a huge sports weekend. Preakness, NBA playoffs, Game 7, NHL playoffs, Game 7,
PGA.
Major League Baseball, excuse me, PGA Championship. And this is by far the dominant topic across social media. It's not even close. It's not even close. We're back here to this great divide.
Yeah, I mean, it's a controversy, right? Which always makes the headlines like nothing else. But, and I feel, this conversation is going to be a little thin because we're preaching to the choir here. We all feel the same way about this. I don't understand how you can feel another way about it, but I know that maybe there are people that are. I don't know whether they truly feel that way about this foul or they have just kind of sold themselves to the defense of Angel Reese or to the detriment of Caitlin Clark or whatever it might be, but people have dug themselves in there and they're not yet to the point where they're going to consider changing their mind. So, I just, what I saw in that play was not a flagrant foul. I thought that was,
it's a hard foul.
It was an intentional foul.
Yeah, it's a take foul.
I didn't think it was a hard foul. I thought it was a deliberate foul. I thought Angel Reese embellished it. I thought the announcers were way over the top in their analysis of the situation. I mean, they were like, well, she gave her the shove with the left hand, and that's where the technical is. I don't think that's where the technical was. I think the refs were trying to keep a lid on the game, or they were trying to show that they were not favoring Caitlin Clark. I think that's always a question that comes up. It didn't look to me like she pushed her hard or hit her hard. I didn't think it was a flagrant. I don't think they should have upgraded that. But the broadcast team was totally convinced from the moment they started looking at the replay that should be upgraded to a flagrant one. Angel Reese jumping up to go after Caitlin Clark, that was a display. I thought if nobody had stepped in there, I don't think she would have done anything. I'm always a little surprised that Aaliyah Boston isn't a little bit more defensive of Caitlin Clark, but that could just be.
She did get in between the two.
She
of them.
got in, but she kind of got in the way.
She got technical.
Yeah, right. And we're reminded that in the WNBA, I mean, the technicals come more easily. They get fined when they get a technical. It's a bigger deal. It's not as routine as it is in the NBA. Maybe that's a good thing, but I think Aaliyah Boston is just really nice. I just think that's her personality, and it's just not in her character to get in there and, give her a forearm shiver or anything like that. I mean, she's just not like that, but I'm always a little surprised that she's not more of an enforcer out on the floor, because in the NBA, we are very accustomed to seeing players who are that's part of their job. They protect the stars, and they are enforcers on the court. You don't mess with them. And, and just because Aaliyah Boston is so much bigger than everybody else, that assignment shouldn't automatically go to her. It has to go to her character too. But, this is great for the WNBA. Okay. This is great. Let's say it again. This is great for the WNBA. This is the topic du jour. This is something that makes people anticipate the next meeting between these two teams, or even the next game involving these players. This
It
tells
is.
you.
It's also exhausting, Andy. To have because there's
You're
no
talking
way,
about like the online back and forth. The
yes,
social
but that's
media back
so
and
much
forth.
of what we can't get away from is just the lens of race that this gets sent through instead of competitive basketball. If these two players with this rivalry and this passion, and I don't know what is in Angel Reese's heart. I'm not comfortable, like Robert Griffin said, it's clear Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. I don't know that. I can't tell what's in her heart. I can tell from things she said and actions she's taken that she's jealous. And I think there is some resentment for the attention that Caitlin Clark gets. But does she hate her? I don't know. Yeah. I can't say that. Did she pop up and overdo it a little bit? She did. But that happens in basketball too. I don't have a big problem with that. Where it gets to be this big problem is where everybody then makes it about Caitlin Clark's special treatment. If anything, the WNBA has constantly bent over backwards to make sure it seems as though Clark isn't getting any special attention. Like if they put up a photo of the great players in the WNBA, you can be sure anything they do, they won't just put Caitlin Clark. Even if they do a documentary, they have to make sure there's other players included, and you can bet that they're not white. I mean, they are really, really conscious of how this is being perceived, and they're being very careful, and I get it. And then some of what we have happen again this weekend is you say, can this get worse? Well, yes, it can, because someone somewhere, we're not even sure where yet, said that racist comments were aimed at Angel Reese and the Sky during the game. And the WNBA goes to what is now the sports team playbook, which is to announce with a statement that you will investigate, even if you have no proof at this time, or anything suggesting that it actually has happened. Maybe it did happen. You should investigate it. But the playbook now is to publicly announce it so that you're acknowledging that you're looking into it. So the WNBA says, strongly condemns racism, hate, discrimination, all forms. They have no place in our league or in our society. Agreed. Most of us, I hope the overwhelming majority of us agree with that. We are aware of the allegations and are looking into the matter. Well, now we've got gas on the fire. Now it's going crazy. But did it happen? We don't know. There's no player or coach or security person or arena worker. There's no phone video anywhere of anybody yelling racism or hateful comments out. Did they boo Angel Reese? Yes, that's sports. I mean, she had just gone after their favorite player. Is she going to get booed? Any race in that situation is going to get booed. That's the way it is. But was somebody shouting N-words or something? That's just hard for me to believe that happened and that nobody recorded it, nobody saw it. I think it's someone on some social media platform saying that they experienced that. And as Emily Ryan, not the basketball player, but a commenter on Sound Off said last night, after the WNBA looks into this, if they find no evidence of it happening, they need to release that too. Because Fever fans are all getting painted with this same brush that there's some kind of toxic atmosphere in the arena, not just a competitive one, but a potentially racist one. Mm-hmm. And if you find that's not true, you got to say that too.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that would help the WNBA, say we did look into it and we didn't see anything. It is hard to believe. I seriously doubt that it would be someone shouting the N-word at any of the players. It could be something other than that, though.
I know there are still racist. I get it.
Yeah,
I know they're still out there.
They could be saying something else that is racist other than that, but I don't know. I do know you see it in social media all the time. My God, it's
sickening.
Alarming how quickly when people have the cover of an anonymous social media handle on X, which is the worst, or even Instagram, which seems to be so much more innocuous and even friendly. Oh my God. You see a video of, I was just watching the other night a video of a predominantly black high school that the students had graduated, and they were dancing up on the stage. And I was like, I bet you I'm going to see some awful comments here. And I clicked that open, and I couldn't believe the stuff that you see on YouTube. And so it's out there. If you've got cover, there are people that are going
show
to
themselves,
go crazy under that cover. Yeah, they're going to go nuts. And you can't believe the stuff that they're saying, but you can believe it because you've seen it before. But I don't know. In the arena, I don't know. It is too bad that we have to keep talking about this, but I think Caitlin Clark, I mean, she's the reason that we're watching. And I think we can just follow her example too. She just moves on every time. She was even wanting to move on in that press clip or that post-game clip that we just showed. I mean, you could see her wanting, kind of willing Aaliyah Boston, move on for the technical. It's all right, whatever, moving on. Just moves on. I imagine it is not easy for her to do that from time to time. She probably has a lot she'd like to say, but she always moves on. And that's, I think every time so far, that's been the right decision. And I think we could follow that example. A lot of us need to just kind of follow that example and be like, okay, we don't have to retreat onto the social media sites. We don't have to retreat onto Twitter, start fighting with people that we don't know, get onto Facebook and fight with people that we know barely. You don't have to let yourself get dragged into that kind of stuff. Now, you could sit there and exhaust yourself saying, oh, it's too bad this stuff is out there. Hey, it's out there. People do this on social media. You ain't going to stop it. The best that you can do is either ignore it or just, casually roll through it. But I was really proud of the way Caitlin Clark conducted herself there. She committed the foul, and then true to her word, as she said, explained why she did it. She got up and she walked away. That's it. Did the foul, made the basketball play, and then walked on. Then moved on.
And she's been called by some like, oh, you ran from the situation. No, that's the way to tamp it down immediately. And you're right, she did handle it well.
That's the way you show Angel Reese that you didn't mean anything by that too.
Yeah, and Angel Reese's comments after the game, her comments were good too. They were very short and to the point. And yes, she looked like she wanted to say more, but wasn't going to say it. But what she actually said was fine. And just to be clear, so there's not any confusion, if in this investigation it goes the other way and I'm wrong and they do find that there was somebody in the stands that was shouting racist remarks or hateful speech, that fan should be banned forever, or fans, whatever it is. I don't believe they're going to find that because I feel like somebody would have recorded it, somebody would have heard it, somebody would be talking about it. I think it's engagement, clicking. I think somebody out there is farming for clicks and engagement, and it worked. It went viral.
Well, and it's the media's responsibility to ask the WNBA, ask the Indiana Fever.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, how's that investigation going? Did you find anything?
Yeah, what'd you find?
And you're not going into it, skeptically. Go in there genuinely, journalistically. What did you find from this? This is the last that you heard. We want to know what you have found. How have you looked? How have you conducted this search? I would kind of like to know that too, because this can happen in other topics as well. We want to know how this procedure works.
There's no place for hate speech or racism at a game. So if you find that it existed, do something about it. If you find out it didn't happen and it was just like fans booing and jeering as fans will do in any sport, regardless of race, say that too. Now, there was a sounder that was played. AD, I probably need your help here as a younger person. So there's somebody who's like a streamer. There's a meme of a young black man who has a particular memorable laugh that sounds like a dolphin. Do I have that right?
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't know anything about this before this weekend, but that's what I've seen. And they kind of play that We do have the sound here.
Okay, now is this the Indiana Fever that plays the sound as like Angel Reese is shooting a free throw? This sounder of this young streamer's laugh.
That's how it sounds, yeah. Because
and
you'll hear it's clear enough that it's not just somebody doing it from the sideline. It sounds like it's coming through the arena speakers.
Okay.
And then Chicago will maintain the basketball.
Do you hear that, Andy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
sounds
that
like a dolphin.
It does sound like a dolphin. I have been told that has been misheard or misunderstood or misrepresented as sounding like a monkey, but it's this guy's laugh. And it's a meme. This is something young people could immediately tell us the name of this guy, but his laugh is played all the time. And apparently it's now used as like a sounder, but it sounds like a dolphin. One more time, if you would, AD.
Yep.
And then Chicago will maintain the basketball.
It's kind of an annoying sound. It sounds like an alarm clock. Yeah.
It is not something you'd want to hear as you're shooting a free throw because it is really annoying. And thank goodness I don't have that laugh. I've got my own struggles.
Are arenas allowed to do that? Play artificial noise during free throws? It seems like they should be.
I don't know. I know fans do everything they can to mess somebody up.
Yeah, but they can't bring in an air horn. Trust me, I've tried.
Well, what about the Screaming Eagle?
That comes out of his mouth. Yeah,
that's true.
That's not artificial. That's real noise. That's real noise.
Quickie poll, WCI Pools and Spas in Ames and Urbandale.
How is the Clark-Reese rivalry impacting your WNBA fandom? I'm more interested or I'm less interested?
Well, my hypocrisy knows no bounds.
I don't believe this. I'm sorry, I don't believe this. These are people that are telling us that they don't like the WNBA and don't care about it. And
we've gotten some comments where it's like, oh, where's option C where I never cared.
People love the WNBA is that league right now that people are lining up around the block.
The NBA
to tell you they don't give a shit about it. Yeah, exactly. There's always that person. You're like, okay, you haven't added anything to the conversation.
That's a funny comment.
Just want to let everybody know I don't care anything about this. And
where's option C? I don't give a crap. Marty,
I mean, you want to honestly tell me that they're going to say, okay, you're going to say, okay, coming up on this television here is a heated situation between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. You want to tell me that number of people are going to turn around and walk away?
You're not watching the Fever game in Chicago in a couple of weeks?
I mean, come on. And that's not going to happen very often. So, usually when you watch a WNBA game, you don't see anything like this, but it's made it more interesting.
There's no doubt. I mean, there's no doubt. I'd like to get it back to just the rivalry and not constantly have it become this racial thing. I think we're all exhausted by that. But the rivalry itself, that's great for the league and great for interest. And who's not watching in a couple of weeks?
Well, it all is good for eyeballs, whether it's good for the, your state of mind as you're participating and your viewership is up for debate. But, the WNBA this weekend, main topic of conversation. That's incredible.
On a busy sports weekend. AD, if you could get the Dolphin sound, this guy's laugh, this streamer's laugh, one more time. I think Marty nailed it. He said, "This is Yoko Ono jamming with Chuck Berry."
And then Chicago will maintain the basketball.
Absolutely.
That's
Marty,
great.
Spot on,
Marty. Nice done. Nicely done. Interact on YouTube. On X, it's Murph_Andy. Email Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. You go to iowaeverywhere.com to find anything related to Iowa Everywhere and how to watch the shows and the merch stores there, everything. It's all powered by the Cellular Advantage, proudly representing U.S. Cellular since 1993 with 35 regional locations. By the way, AD, Jenny in a new Paragon, that's where she works, Nike gear today.
Yeah.
I guess something good came out of that meeting you had Friday out on the patio because they bought more AKC merchandise.
It's amazing how quickly I work, right? We met at
You're
1
so
o'clock
good.
last Friday. She's already got the apparel. So yeah, set a meeting with me for this Friday at Wellman's rooftop, and we'll talk.
Way to set the example, Jenny. Conference finals are set in the NBA. Timberwolves versus Thunder. The Thunder, the 1 seed and the favorite now. Pacers versus Knicks. Someone is winning their first title, or the Knicks are about to win a title for the first time in 52 years. Andy, do you count the Seattle Sonics winning the title in 1977 as meaning the Oklahoma City franchise has won a title?
Ooh.
No, I don't.
I don't either.
No, I mean, I think when you move cities, you and especially when you change names too. I mean, it changed everything. No, I do not consider them to be the Seattle Sonics.
As a Lakers fan who counts all of the Minneapolis titles,
there it is.
You don't need to though. The Lakers, the LA Lakers shouldn't count those titles.
Boston, we do need to.
It would appear my hypocrisy knows no bounds.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do though. I do think that these things stay with the franchise, as weird as it is. Yeah, I do think the Thunder franchise has a championship.
So you think the Thunder can win the franchise's second NBA championship?
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Yes, it is.
I don't think of it that way, but
not at all. Not at all.
He makes a good point about the Lakers, though. If you're going to count all those from Minneapolis,
but who do they count those?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
but
that's how they keep up with the Celtics.
Are Lakers fans pointing to the banners in the Staples Center that have Minneapolis Lakers on them?
They don't need to. But if they needed to,
are people walking around in George Mikan jerseys?
No, they keep up with them so they can keep up with the Celtics. That's what this is all about.
Well, that's exactly what it's about.
Yeah. Well, this gives them a total of 2 if they win. The Seattle Sonics, that was I still can't believe that franchise relocated. That was it's in a big successful city, great name, great.
Why did they ever shorten it to just like Supersonics was? I mean, call them
Sonics.
Sonics.
Fit it on the jersey. They wanted
don't
to put
don't get rid of the super. Yeah, they shouldn't have done that. One of the misfires.
I don't know. Did they officially get rid of that?
They did. They did. They
Okay.
officially changed it to just Sonics. Just like at some point
it's the Knicks, not the Knickerbockers.
Yeah,
that's too
I wonder if
long.
it's still official. Knickerbockers, not sure. We misfired. I misfired. No interest in watching the Preakness live. I said that repeatedly last week, even though it was on WHO 13, working against our own anti-promo interest. I didn't stop what I was doing, just as I said I would not. If it was on, I would watch it, but I didn't seek it out. And then, as you pointed out in What's Bugging Andy last night, by the time we did watch it, we were robbed of the moment of experiencing one of the greatest comebacks, horse, man, anything in a race in history.
Journalism is getting closer now. He's behind a wall of horses. He's looking for a place to go, and he's got nowhere to go. Oh, he bumped hard with goal-oriented. In the meanwhile, Gosner's running the race of his life, and Sandman has entered the scene, and he has moved up on the far outside. Journalism is still running on. He's back into second. He might even win it. Here's the wire. Oh, my goodness. Journalism has won the Preakness Stakes in a performance like you read about.
Great call. The announcer is
Larry Kalmus. Yeah,
fantastic.
One of the best horse racing calls that we've heard in a long time.
Genuine excitement. He can't believe what he's seeing.
And you watch the video short where they've got a camera on him and he's watching through his binoculars, and then he's looking at the track, and then he's looking at his monitors, and he goes back to his binoculars, and the whole time he doesn't miss a beat. It's incredible how good these guys are. Oh. It was so thrilling. I didn't watch this. I got an alert on my phone saying that, journalism won in thrilling fashion. So I still didn't quite know what the win looked like. I had no idea what the win looked like. And as I was watching the highlights, I was like, he wins this race? So he's so far back. And then, he gets he tries to thread the needle between two horses. The one on his right moves over and slams into him. The jockey slams into him on purpose.
So in this
trying to
photo
close
here,
the gap.
Andy, he's second from the right, hemmed in over there.
No, he's in the middle. He's in the middle.
Oh, he's in
you could barely see his look to the far right. He's the second from right. You can barely see his face through the hole there.
Yep.
Excuse me. He's trying to thread the needle at this point. I'm not exactly sure what part of the race this is from, but he tries to get through the middle, and then the horse to the jockey's right, is pulled over and slams into journalism. And I recommend this book all the time, but one of the great things about reading Seabiscuit by Laura Hillenbrand is you really get a good idea of what it's like for the jockeys in this sport, in this crazy, hellish life that they live, and then how difficult it is during the race. They are not sitting on the saddles. They never sit on the saddle. They walk up, and the moment they get into the gate, they're done sitting until the race is over. So they're balancing on the balls of their feet, and often during the race, they're throwing elbows at each other, they're slamming into each other, and they're trying to maintain their balance as they're on the balls of their feet with this, horse going 40 miles an hour beneath them. And it's so difficult. And that happens, one little thing happens on the home stretch there that removes some of the horse's energy at that point in the race. That race should be over. I mean, he has to recover from that bump and then pull himself free and then accelerate to catch the leader down the stretch. And that's exactly what he does. And it's absolutely incredible that he is able to make up that ground. And that, again, we're talking about the shortest race in the Triple Crown.
I've watched the replay over and over again. And each time, even though I've already seen it, I have the thought to myself, he can't win this race. He's too far behind. And I remember the first time I watched it, because I knew journalism had won. So the first time I watched it, I thought, well, this horse out front must stop or fall or something. He can't catch that horse, not in that amount of space. And he does. It's like they gave him the ginger or put a rocket up his ass.
Yeah, the leader is fading, there's no doubt, but journalism is accelerating at that point. I'll be interested to see kind of the splits from that race. But, this to me, this tells me that if that was not a muddy track at Churchill Downs, he would have won the Kentucky Derby. I think he's the best horse, was talked about as being the best horse, certainly one of the best horses. He should have won that race. If the muddy track just changed the playing field and hurt him. And I think he's going to go on and win the Belmont. Now the Belmont is a whole lot more interesting now.
Yeah, it is. It's a match race now.
Yeah, both journalism and sovereignty should be in that race, although we don't know.
We should
because, at this point, I don't know, journalism is worth a lot more money, and that always kind of sways the hand a little bit, but I am interested. I'm back in now. I'm interested in seeing the Belmont. Yeah. It's just a match race. And maybe it's like a 6-horse field or something. How many were in this? 8 or 9? Not very many.
Yeah. It always goes to about half or less.
But he's still accelerating there at 1 mile and 3/16. And so for a 1.5 mile Belmont course, he wins by a wide margin in this field.
AD, what was the horse a few years ago? I remember we played the audio over and over. Was it Mine That Bird that came from way back with that great call?
Yeah, I think so. I've had a lot of calls. Like Mike points out, Orb.
Orb.
Call several years ago.
Such a great call. He's it's just his raw emotion.
Yeah.
So much pressure too. You get a horse wrong or you misidentify a horse, you blow the whole thing. You get 2 minutes.
So in 1979, there was a horse named Spectacular Bid that won the Derby and the Preakness, is just far and away the best horse in the field. And there just have been back-to-back Triple Crown winners in Seattle Slew and Affirmed, but it looks like Spectacular Bid is going to make it 3 straight. He goes into the Belmont, and in his pen, he steps on a nail, and it goes deep into the frog of his hoof, and it really injures him, and he runs anyway. And I don't think it was, I believe the story goes, I don't think they knew he was injured until after the race. They found the nail and he doesn't win. And, it goes down as one of the great, all time what ifs, I mean, he should have won the Triple Crown, but I think we may have that again this year with just, you trade the Belmont for the Derby, and this horse will go down and everybody will be like, boy, if it wasn't a muddy track at Churchill Downs, you would have had a Triple Crown winner in journalism. And we're basing that on one race. Yeah. But I mean, I love the call on this. And, I was saying this last night on What's Bugging Andy. Sometimes the competition is enough, right? I mean, that's why you were interested in the first place, watching people, horses, whatever, cars compete, trying to see who's the fastest. And that was the original attraction to racing. And, we now are in a society where we just have to have something more, right? You got to have a controversy. You got to have superstars in the game. You got to have a rivalry. You got to have like an all-time history-making moment on the line or something. And it's like, it's not enough for it to just be the competition. So we didn't watch. And we got a reminder on Saturday that sometimes it's just worth watching because you remember what it was like to just watch the competition. And sometimes the people that willed themselves to watch anyway are rewarded, and the people that watch this live will never forget that. I mean, I imagine that they'll talk about that and they'll say, hey, this is one time where the Triple Crown wasn't on the line, but I watched the Preakness anyway, and it ended up being one of the most thrilling races I ever witnessed.
Worth mentioning, Brock Purdy got paid, and how, $265 million for the former All Big 12 quarterback at Iowa State. $181 million of that is guaranteed, and he has a no trade clause. We shouldn't lose sight of this. This is a remarkable story. It's not quite Kurt Warner, who was not even drafted at all, but this is Mr. Irrelevant. This is the last pick in the NFL draft, now getting a $265 million deal, and just an easy guy to like and cheer and root for. I mean,
and that's a big part of the reason he got this deal too, right? I mean, he got this deal because the 49ers like him. He's a good teammate.
Good teammate, good fan, seems like a good friend, husband, son, all of that. Happy for Brock Purdy. David Montgomery, another story from the weekend that I love, 27 years old, has a pretty good paying job, but still went back and graduated from Iowa State University. I love to see this kind of thing.
I do too. And I imagine this it was one of the proudest moments that he's had in his life. I bet his family loved the fact that he did this. Iowa State certainly did, bringing him back to the fold. A lot of athletes say they'll do this, and I bet a lot of them don't.
Yeah, life gets in the way. And they announced him at the ceremony as Chuck Bruce. No, they didn't. It was David Montgomery.
We supered him that way, though. Did we show the highlight?
The Lions sent their love.
David Montgomery, better known as Demo, also known as Knuckles. Congratulations for a big-time job in graduating.
Demo, congrats on graduating. Proud of you, man. Going back and getting it done. Love you. Good luck, and have fun.
I was wondering in the offseason why you weren't responding to my text, but it all makes sense, man. You were busy. You were studying. Congrats, man.
A lot of respect for what you're doing. Past what you're doing on the football field, what you're doing for your son, showing them how you finish what you started is huge. Way to set the example, my boy. Congratulations.
I love that. It's a good story. And Andy, I have an update with AD's help here. I have now seen a photo of Nicolas Cage as John Madden that helps me see him in the role a little bit more.
That helps a little bit. Yeah.
Doesn't it? I mean, that's a pretty, now I still see Nicolas Cage's face. He has very distinctive, eyeliner.
He's got a little
or
Tim
something.
Allen Santa Claus going prosthetics on his cheeks there.
But I could see it here a little bit more. Now, again, John Madden was he 42 when he was done with coaching? I believe.
Yeah, he was in his 30s when he was in the Super Bowl.
When he won the Super Bowl,
right?
yeah. So he's done at age 42. Cage is, what do we say, 60 AD?
Yeah, late 60s.
So yeah, so he's playing somebody much younger, but now I do see it here more than I did in that first photo we showed.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Madden was in the light beer from Miller commercials while he was coaching, right?
I feel like that's a yes.
Yeah, and then did he go right into the broadcast booth, or was there a little bit of time? I honestly don't know.
Remember. God, he was so good at that too.
Madden and
Jeez.
Summerall are my all-time favorite broadcast duo. Just the chime, like kind of the harmonious chime of their combined voices, like it for a broadcast.
Yep.
Oh my God, that just made me feel so good.
And they were nothing alike on the air, and it just worked. Like the chemistry was right. You know, Summerall had that very distinctive, slow delivery. Montana, Rice,
Emmett
touchdown.
Smith. Yeah, Emmett
and then
Smith.
Madden would jump in with like, "Well, here's how it happened, Pat. Yeah, you see here, I circle." He would just jump in and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, got him, touchdown!"
Drawing over the screen.
It was awesome. And now here's baby Ric Flair. Confluence, the official beer of Murph and Andy. We sure had a good time at Friday's patio party.
We did. We were laughing about some of the beer titles that they've had at Confluence, and afterwards,
we're gonna get a list.
Mark David sent us a list, and it was far worse than I thought. Okay, we're talking about
don't give
how
any of them away
long
because
the
we're gonna turn this into a game.
Oh, okay. You
remember
want me,
like Derby Horse or Weed Strain? We're
Let
gonna
me
come
just-
up with a game.
Let me just give you one of them, just so
Okay.
you can see what I'm talking about here. 50s Dad Bourbon Barrel Aged Milk Stout with coffee, vanilla bean, and chocolate.
Get that on a shirt. It'd be have to wrap around.
I know because we brought that up to John Martin, and he looked like he wanted to argue for a second, but he knew better. We were right. Those titles are so long. It's really.
Welcome to the 2025 Patio Tour. Cheers, Andy. We're at Confluence Brew today, and it is a beautiful day. Hey, did you know they still have Throwdown in there?
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
there's still some left on tap.
Mark Freund had one.
Yeah, Mark had one. Way to go, Mark. Confluence, where good things come together. Is wearing the Confluence t-shirt to Confluence like wearing the Pearl Jam shirt to the Pearl Jam concert?
Now the guys wearing the Murph and Andy shirts to the Murph and Andy show. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, we have some people wearing Murph and Andy shirts.
Look at these handsome folks out here. We got hot women, hot men. This is pretty great. I was talking about temperature, not physical appearance, everybody. Just want you to be clear.
They do have a bunch of new stuff that has just been released, but you've got something else coming up that you wanted to tell us about.
It's the biggest thing we've done since probably opening the brewery. So we're bringing back a Des Moines native. Back in the early 1900s, they built a brewery, and they had a flagship called Old Tavern. Prohibition killed it. We're bringing it back to Des Moines.
Wow.
Yeah.
Old Tavern.
Old Tavern, premium light lager.
We've been with you for a long time. You've been with us for a long time.
You guys are great.
We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
What was Sipker on?
I've been asked that question repeatedly. I was just going to ask you the same question. He was high on life, I guess I want to say, but I don't know. He was wired.
He is high on line. Yeah, man.
He was playing to the audience, Andrew. He was like, he had some people in the crowd he's like pointing at and
It's
stuff.
that theater background. He's playing to the back row.
That's exactly right.
Playing to the back row.
Projecting his voice.
All right, let's get some more here on a Monday.
But wait, there's more from Either Or Eatery and Patio.
Not a great day on the patio at either or, but they need a break out there. They'll get it all cleaned up and give the staff a little bit of a breather, but then the rest of the week, and they've also got, obviously, full dining indoors, a beautiful place there, either or eatery and patio. We will be there on Friday, June 6th on the patio tour. That's coming up. Not great news. You guys probably saw this, but down on Ingersoll Avenue, Juniper Moon has folded up the tent.
Jenny and I went by there Saturday night because we know we're running out of time.
Yeah, the proprietor there, Jason Garnett, a guy we've known for a long time. We like him a lot. You can find him over at Simon's now. Simon Goheen has snapped him up. He's been there for a while. He's tended bar over in their waiting room, which is way cool.
Yep.
Right next door.
They need a waiting room. That's how popular it is.
It means that the problem is that if you have Jason Garnett over there making cocktails, the waiting room is going to need a waiting room.
It's going to need cots.
Yeah. Well, they have couches, very, very nice big couches, but I'm sorry to see this. Tony Lemo and company, they've owned this bar for a long time, but they're just ready to move on and do something else. But remember when Jason used to come in and make cocktails on Fridays on the radio show?
Prior to the patio tour, those are my favorite Fridays on the air.
Yeah, that was fun. Gusto Pizza would bring in stuff to eat on Friday, and Jason would spin cocktails. That was fun. Well, for the second time in 2 months, a driver has crashed into the Webster Bank on Route 59 in Nanuet, New York. And it just so happens it was the same driver both times, and both accidents happened on a Friday. So they entered the weekend with this to clean up. The Clarkstown police rushed to the scene where the car had smashed through the bank's front window. Again, the driver, whose name was not shared, was not hurt. Nobody inside the bank was injured either. Police didn't say what caused the crash. They did say the driver was older. Bank walls are supposed to be hard to crash through, right? I mean, an elder, an old man just accidentally pressing the gas pedal. It seems like that's a sign that maybe the bank isn't. I mean, what's that safe like?
This doesn't take a turn to just trying to crash into the ATM and have it spill open cash or something. It really just twice the same man,
the same
drove
spot,
into the same bank on the same day of the week.
They need to give this guy his own parking spot.
They need to give him a bike,
away from the bank,
scooter, a
way
golf
out to the
cart,
side.
pair of walking shoes.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? Because I mean, that happens around here, like that Basic Bird over there in Beaverdale, super popular. And then somebody's driving along Beaver, and I don't know what, they crashed into the front of the building and wrecked the building. Can you imagine being a business owner? You're like, oh my God, you got insurance.
Can you imagine being there having a chicken sandwich and having a car pull into the table next to you?
Like, man, I'm not going to be able to eat here for a while. You'd be really annoyed. New research from CNET finds that the average U.S. adult is paying $1,080 per year on subscriptions.
Oh, jeez.
That has 61% second guessing their subscription spending. 26 have already canceled at least one of them. We are paying for all kinds of subscriptions right now, but the most popular ones, of course, are for streaming services.
I used to think cable was expensive.
Yeah, followed by e-commerce like Amazon Prime, and then music as well. Do you know all of the subscriptions that you maintain right now, Murph? Could you sit down and write them out, or would you forget some stuff?
I would forget some stuff, and this is like a fear I have too. Like, what am I paying for that I'm not using at all?
Yeah, and especially when you do those like 30-day free trials of something, and then you forget to cancel it, and then
you have to tell your phone the date, like 29 days from now. Hey, don't forget to cancel or check on the subscription. But
I think what you should do is put them all on one credit card. Have two credit cards. Put all the subscriptions on one credit card, and then periodically cancel that credit card. Pay the bill, but cancel it so that all the subscriptions end, and then you can just restart them. Is there any problem with that?
No, I like it.
Does that
they
ruin
usually
your credit?
say new subscribers, but can they keep up with that? Because you want a new deal too, right? You want a new enticement to come back.
Yeah, I do that with Sirius XM like once a year.
Yeah.
I call in and I say, yeah, I'm done with this. I don't want to subscribe anymore. And they're like, Well, we have a new monthly deal
Really?
for past subscribers that you might be interested in hearing. Oh, okay, good. Break it out there for me. From the bowels of Instagram, we bring you this. Ring cameras are making us aware of all we'd been missing before their invention.
Camera recording.
Oh. Oh, dang.
Watch this one.
Oh.
Shoes.
We had
I boxed himself up.
showings this weekend.
Not a ring. Not a ring camera there, but still.
What just happened?
Good natured about it.
A deer just got.
Oh!
Oh! Watch this.
You okay?
Yeah. Matt! Stop it!
You're gonna be alright, yeah?
Yeah.
This guy falls into the next zip code.
Forward momentum, lateral momentum.
I think
Wow.
everybody was okay. The person getting pulled out of their wheelchair, and then the delivery driver just like, "You okay? You gonna be all right? All right. Now I'll see you later." Oh my God.
That was a little bit like that poor high jumper from last week who just came down in front of the bar.
Just back planted. The Carolina Foothills Nudist Resort in South Carolina is hosting its annual Buck Creek Streak. It's a 5K race on June 14th. Buck Creek Streak. The resort says 161 people so far have signed up, breaking last year's record. So here's the deal. Runners don't have to wear clothes for this race. So the official outfit seems to be anything goes. So you can just run naked. And this is basically just, I put this in there because we started watching the show on, it's on Prime right now, but it's called Dating Naked UK. Have you guys seen that yet?
I haven't watched it. I do know what you are referencing.
You have to. Okay, yeah. So, somebody told me about it, and
you're enjoying it.
It's a dating show. Well, it's weird because everybody's naked.
Yeah,
they're
Get
naked
that
the
out of
whole
the way
minute,
first.
and everybody's attractive, and they're all totally naked. They wear like a wireless mic on like a necklace around their neck. The battery pack kind of hangs down on their shoulders in the back. Other than that, they have nothing on. And it's crazy just how quickly you stop kind of thinking about them being naked. You get into the relationships and kind of the banter back and forth, the dialogue, and it's only like when you stop watching the show and then immediately start watching it again that you're reminded that everybody is naked. Right? I mean, you just you kind of lose. It sort of loses the you lose the fascination there, right? I mean, the newness, burns off really quickly.
I wouldn't want to come up on this race without being aware it was taking place. That would be eye-opening.
Yeah, because there's good naked and there's bad naked. As Seinfeld laid out, and naked jogging. Especially with the men. All right, finally, let's go back to Instagram one more time and tell me, guys, is this real or is this fake? If it's real, it is the greatest wedding moment ever.
And forsaking all others, be faithful to him as long as you both shall live. The rings, please.
Oh, God! No! Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Are you okay? Oh, my God.
All right. So
I feel like it's fake.
Best man brings up the rings, trips over the step, falls into the bride and the minister, who fall into a pool that's behind them. The poor bride that dress is soaked. Do you think it's fake?
I bought. See, I don't know. You've planted the seed, so that
well
has
I'm
me
not
looking for it.
I'm not making an argument there. I was just telling you what happened.
When he first falls, that looks real to me, but it looks like he's lunging a little bit for the bride, and then the dominoes start to fall, and some of the reactions seem like a little bit staged, but it is all real.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell. And it doesn't say. But okay, we'll watch him again.
Okay, watch him.
He slips on the step. I mean, he falls hard.
But see his left hand though grabs for her dress. Like he didn't see right there. It's like he has to watch his left hand.
Like he tripped her with that hand?
Yeah, like you see what I'm talking about, AD?
Yeah, I see it. But do you think he's tripping her with that hand, or what is he doing with that hand? Who cares if he grabbed her dress?
I think they know all these dominoes have to fall, and he's given her and then the preacher doesn't really even have to go that way, but he does too. I don't know though. Somebody must know. Anybody out there know? Let's see.
It just seems like it's a little too convenient of a location for that
shoving
to happen.
her, no wedding. Sam Lazada writes, no wedding video person has a camera there. That zoom out was way too perfect. The way he falls, it's fake.
Well, but people record
We're so
everything
cynical
with their
about it now.
cameras
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Shoving her, he shoved her down. I don't know. Man, I want this to be real. So
it might be
badly.
Wow.
Well, maybe we'll find out. All right, that's your more, everybody.
All right, thank you, Andy. Time for Throwdowns.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns, backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
Heartland Tire and Auto, treating you like family in Ankeny, Waukee, Knoxville, Boone, and Creston, an authorized dealer of both Bridgestone and Firestone tires. Murph, will start with you. 4 teams remain in the NBA playoffs, each led by a star player in his 20s. Of these 4, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Tyrese Halliburton. Who is the biggest star left in the NBA playoffs?
It should be SGA. He's going to be the MVP, but it's not. We're the word star. We're not asking for best player. I think the biggest star is probably Jalen Brunson because he's in that New York market and ESPN puts the Knicks on any chance. I think it's probably him.
I agree. He's got the biggest scope. He's also been just incredible.
He's been great too. Yeah, not taking anything away from that.
That all of this could change this postseason.
Yeah.
I mean, one of these guys could rise to just an incredible level of stardom. And it's the table's all set. I mean, this is what you want. I mean, it's time for the NBA to bring in some new superstars.
It's funny. I think SGA may be 4th on that list, even though, as you said, Murphy's probably the best player and going to be
hard name to remember. And he's down in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, Halliburton has raised his profile a lot.
Yeah, 4 teams remain in the NHL playoffs with just one Canadian team hoping to end the more than 30-year drought for the nation on the North. Are you rooting for Edmonton to win the Stanley Cup?
I wanted to see the Maple Leafs advance. I thought that I don't really care about Edmonton. So I guess it'd be good for Canada, but I was hoping to see like the Jets or the Maple Leafs, somebody that it would mean so much to that hockey crazed community. The Maple Leafs just went out there and took a dump in Game 7. So yeah, I don't have an investment.
Yeah, had a lead. Winnipeg also. Oh man, I felt terrible for those fan bases. And 3 just my least favorite. 3 of my least favorite franchises are left in the Carolina, Florida, and Dallas. Hockey shouldn't be in any of those markets. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Totally rooting for Edmonton here. I don't think they're going to win. Really looks like the Panthers again. The Panthers are the Hurricanes. That's probably the championship in that series.
Panthers or Hurricanes. Yeah, goodness.
All right, Andy, when you eat string cheese, Do you eat it in strings or you just bite off chunks?
Both. I both. Yeah, I do. The
just how the
when you eat it in strings, it takes a long time. When you get the really fresh stuff and up in Wisconsin, it's amazing because it's so stringy. It's like some of the threads are. I mean, they literally look like sewing thread. They're that thin. But I do both.
I found out not that long ago about the strings. I always thought it was just a rectangular chunk of cheese. So that's still the way I eat it.
Rectangular
string cheese
or whatever you call that, like a 2x4,
cylindrical or something. Yeah.
I never thought about it. I didn't know you could peel them like that. I saw Cade doing it once. I was like, "What are you doing?" It's like having string cheese.
I'm surprised Cade eats.
I had to have it explained to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. At least he eats it.
All right, let's throw downs.
Send your Grimaldi's fan photos to Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. Presented by Grimaldi's Coal Brick Oven Pizzeria in West Des Moines and District at Prairie Trail in Ankeny. I think we have some openings right now. $50 gift card to the winner of the fan photo each Friday. It is time now for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day. We call it the AD Squared.
Yeah, it's powered by Game Day Men's Health. You can find the Ankeny location right across the street from Grimaldi's. As a matter of fact, when I walk out of there after getting my testosterone shot and that Grimaldi's smell wafts over, it's hard for me not to just walk right over there and grab a slice. But you can go to West Des Moines on University, also North Liberty in the eastern side of the state. Wherever you are, there's a Game Day Men's Health nearby. The Denver Nuggets are out of the playoffs after losing in Game 7, and Nikola Jokic, he's a singular-minded individual. He was focused on basketball for all this time. What's he focused on now?
We will see, But from now, like next couple of days, there's going to be a lot of beer, probably.
A lot of beer.
A lot of beer.
I thought he was going to talk about wanting to go home.
And horses.
I got a kick out of that last year. He was like, "No, I'm not staying for that. I'm going."
Quickie poll results presented by WCI Pools and Spas.
How's the Clark-Reese rivalry impacting your WNBA fandom? 67% say they are less interested. 33% say they are more interested.
All right.
The numbers don't bear that out.
Thank you for being part of Murph and Andy, supporting local media here on Iowa Everywhere. The website is iowaeverywhere.com. Please like and subscribe. Invite your friends to the party. And we'll be back Wednesday. We hope you are too.